we're in a new decade of the Survivor Series. It is Survivor Series that has the debut of one of the top stars, the top wrestlers, if you will, of WWE. And so let's talk about it. All around, it was a fascinating show. Looking at it again, I didn't realize that. Well, let's get into it. Shane Douglas versus Buddy Rhodes. Like I said, I didn't realize that Shane Douglas was wrestling for the WWE at the time. I, I didn't know really too much about him. Either than he did wrestle for the WWE in the mid 90s before going to ECW. And then, of course, he was also in WCW. But anyway, so Shane Douglas beat Buddy Rose. And you had a Survivor Series style match. The Warriors, which had the Ultimate Warrior and the Legion of Doom, and Texas Tornado, taking on the Perfect Team, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and Demolition. It's a very interesting match. These very cartoony like characters, like Demolition, and Ultimate Warrior, and Hawk and Animal. And then you have the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, and Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, who were very great wrestlers, especially Perfect being one of the greatest Intercontinental champions. Unfortunately, they are no longer with us, including the Ultimate Warrior, including Hawk. But the Warriors won. It was a good match. And then you had the Million Dollar Dream. Yeah, the Million Dollar Dream team. Ted DiBiase and Rhythm and Blues. And then the special guest that would be wrestling alongside them versus the Dream Team of Dusty Rhodes, Coco Beware, and Heart Foundation. Now, for weeks, Ted DiBiase would say that he would have the fifth member joining his team, or the fourth member joining his team in the traditional Survivor Series match. And when that came time, you had Ted DiBiase picking up the mic and introducing the debut alongside Brother Love, The Undertaker. Now, looking back, see, like, I wasn't really watching wrestling at that time as my older brother was. When you see these characters come to life, you don't know how long it will last. And who knew that The Undertaker would be around to this day? Eventually being with Paul Bearer. But anyway, so Undertaker was introduced, and basically, yeah, the team actually won. That's basically it. The team won. And then that debut and the ever growing Undertaker would be a force to be reckoned with. A decade, 2 decades. There's a decade of destruction, and then, of course, evolving from that. So, I got confused with my words there. Anyways, so then the next match, The Visionaries, you had Rick Martel, the Warlord and Power of Glory, which consisted of Paul Roma and Hercules, took on the Vipers, which I didn't know this. I only knew the Undertaker match. I didn't see the rest of the Survivor Series. So looking back now, the Vipers, which would have had Randy Orton, but anyways, Jake Roberts, Jimmy Snuka, and the Rockers. And the Visionaries won. There's always room for having. Actually, that's twice now, I think, that a heel team won. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I'll have to look back. But, yeah. The Visionaries won, and it's kind of surprising, because you got Jake Roberts with Damien, and then the high-flying Snuka, and then the high-flying Rockers. So it was interesting to see the outcome of that match. Then you had number 5, the Hulkamaniacs. Again, Hulk Hogan, Jim Duggan, and the Big Boss Man, and Tugboat, who later became Typhoon with Earthquake and Natural Disasters. Then they took on, the Natural Disasters, which had Earthquake, Haku, Dino Bravo, and the Barbarian. And of course the Hulkamaniacs won. But like I said, eventually Tugboat would become Typhoon, and then one of the best tag teams of the 90s, I think, the early 90s anyways, the Natural Disasters. And then you had the Alliance, which had Nikolai Volkov, Tito Santana, and the Bushwhackers defeated the Mercenaries, Sergeant Slaughter, Boris Zukov, and the Giant Express, which had Tato and Tanaka, managed by the now late Mr. Fuji and General Adrian, and the Alliance won. What was interesting about the Sergeant Slaughter sympathizing with Iraq during the Gulf War at this time was his manager, General Adrian, or whatever. It really was one of the weirdest managers I've seen, with his crazy eyes. And then you had Hulk Hogan. So this is... Oh, I see. So this was like... Oh, this is quite different. So you had the winners of the Survivor Series matches go up against each other. So it was Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, and Tito Santana defeated Ted DiBiase, Rick Martel, the Warlord, and Powers of Glory. I know I should watch these, but I'd much rather go through a list here. I have, like I said, I haven't really seen... I've only seen the $1 Million Dream match with The Undertaker. This does look like a really good card. So I will have to look at it eventually. So that's Survivor Series 90. I will do Survivor Series 91 shortly. Because it being another thing involving The Undertaker. So there it is. Yeah, catch you later.